It's alive. Or is it? Actually, much of what's considered alive biologically today isn't necessarily considered alive biblically. For example, in the Old Testament, the Hebrew term Nephesh Chayyah, meaning living creature or living soul, is used only to describe vertebrate animals and humans, not plants, not microorganisms, and possibly not even insects. For example, on day 3 of creation, God brings forth vegetation, plants, and fruit trees, and never once are they described as living creatures. In fact, the Bible elsewhere never talks about plants dying, only withering or fading. Therefore, plants might be better described as self-replicating solar-powered food factories. Similarly, microorganisms, though we are not told when they were created, also do not fall under the biblical category of living things. They too are ingenious biological machines. It's not until Genesis 1:20 that the phrase Nephesh Chayyah is first used, and it's here on day 5 of creation that God creates the living creatures, the Nephesh Chayyah, both of the sea and of the air. Similarly, on day 6, God creates the Nephesh Chayyah of the land, both the animals that could be domesticated, the cattle, as well as those that could not be domesticated, the beasts of the earth. Also, God creates the creeping things, which definitely refers to reptiles and amphibians, but may or may not include insects. Indeed, as Dr. Jonathan Sarfati points out, although many insects creep, the Hebrew word remez, meaning creeping things, seems restricted to vertebrate creepers, such as reptiles, not insects. There also seems to be other scriptural hints that insects do not fall under the biblical category of living things. For example, we see in the flood account that all life forms outside the ark that breathed through nostrils perished. Insects and arachnids do not breathe through nostrils, so were not considered Nephesh Chayyah that needed to be saved as obligate passengers on the ark. So insects, like plants and microorganisms, may also be considered ingenious biological machines, though admittedly the Bible does not totally rule out the possibility that they are alive either. Nevertheless, the Bible does draw a clear line between the non-living vegetation and the living vertebrate animals and humans. And more importantly, it makes the ultimate distinction, which many modern biologists fail to make. That is the distinction between animals and humans. Unlike the animals, only man was created in the image of God and according to his likeness. God breathed life into man and gave him special attributes which are totally unattainable to the animals. As the medieval rabbi Rambam so eloquently put it, man alone among the living creatures is endowed, like his creator, with moral freedom and will. He is capable of knowing and loving God and of holding spiritual communion with him, and man alone can guide his actions in accordance with reason. He is therefore said to have been made in the form and likeness of the Almighty. The Bible makes it absolutely clear that we are not animals, nor did we come from animals, but that we are totally unique and special creations of God.